The Scarlet Monastery Library has mobs range from levels 33 to 36 and 2 bosses at level 34 and 37. Now, while this dungeon has its own unique quests for both factions and offers different loot than the other 3 instances in Scarlet Monastery, it's also essential that you complete a library run if you want to obtain a Scarlet Key, so you can access both the Armory and Cathedral without needing a rogue or having to stand by the doors until another group opens them up. Now, the quests in some of these dungeons overlap with each other, so technically there's one specific Alliance quest and 2 Horde quests and 1 Mage class quest that are completed in this section of the dungeon alone. Beginning with the Alliance, you have the quest Mythology of the Titans, which is picked up from Librarian May Pale Dust and Ironforge as early as level 28. The second quest, and the granddaddy of them all in Scarlet Monastery, is In the Name of the Light, which requires level 34 to begin the quest chain from Brother Crowley in Stormwind. He sends you to Brother Anton in Desolace, who then requires you to travel to the south end of the zone and kill 30 Ravagers. Return to Brother Anton, and then deliver the bad news of the Scarlet Crusade to Rayleigh the Devout in South Shore. Now you can venture towards Scarlet Monastery and kill the leaders of this sick, twisted cult. Now on to the Horde quest. Compendium of the Fallen can be picked up at level 28, and get this, you're looking for a freaking book to learn more about the undead's beginnings, and I'd imagine whether or not they're tied to the Crusade. I haven't read the quest text yet, I'm saving it for Classic, so this means it can't be completed by any undead players. Kind of a fun Easter egg in the game. The second exclusive quest to the library is Test of Lore, which is a massive quest chain that begins in Thousand Needles from Dorn Planestalker at level 25. You're going to need to jump off a cliff, retrieve Grinka's Claw from Grinka Bloodscreech, collect fragments of Rockalim from Rockalim the Pounder, locate Dorn's friend Braug Dimspirit in the Thousand Needles, travel to Ashenvale and find the book Legacy of the Aspects, answer some questions, travel to the Undercity and speak to Parkwolf Fentalis, and finally, you're ready to travel to the SM Library and retrieve the beginnings of the undead threat. This quest is lore heavy, and I can imagine it's going to be super fun to experience in Classic. Don't miss out on this one. The last 2 quests are Hearts of Zeal and Into the Scarlet Monastery. Hearts of Zeal requires you to first complete Going Guano in Razorfin Crawl, and then Master Apothecary Farinell in the Undercity will give you Hearts of Zeal. This is really just an introductory quest that's meant to send you to the Scarlet Monastery and can be completed in any of the 4 instances. Lastly, Into the Scarlet Monastery requires level 33 to begin and is picked up from our boy Varamathras in the Undercity, and requires you to do the same as the Alliance, kill the 4 different groupies inside the library, armory, and cathedral instances. As for the Mage Quest that's completed in the library, you need to speak to Tabitha in Dustwallow Marsh at level 30, and then find Magus Tirth in the Thousand Needles. At this point, you're going to need to figure out a super secret riddle, which good luck figuring it out. I'm not going to spoil it here on the video, but afterwards, he'll then send you to the Scarlet Monastery, where you'll need to get the book Rituals of Power and then return to Tabitha. If you do this at level 30, you're going to get the option to 3 different wands specialized in Arcane, Frost, or Fire damage. Spicy. Before we get into the rest of the loot, let's look over the quest rewards. If we disregard the Horde and Alliance quests that require you to kill people in the Armory and Cathedral, the Horde are getting the better deal on this one. 2 different choices on shields and a really nice offhanded item for casters and healers, and the Alliance are only rewarded with a necklace that gives 6 stamina and 6 spirit. Let's quickly take a look at the loot for this instance. We've got 2 bosses in the library. Houndmaster Loksey. This guy drops some of the coolest items I've ever seen dungeon bosses drop. We're talking about Loksey's Training Stick, a staff with no primary stats other than an equip ability that increases attack power by 60 against beasts. Check out his gloves, level 29 leathers that increase attack power by 30 against beasts. And then one of my favorite items in the game, I kid you not, or at least one of the most nostalgic, the dog whistle. Man, I remember this thing dropping back in the day, and it floored me because it wasn't a piece of gear, rather an item with 3 charges. Overall, super unique and fun loot dropping from this guy. Then the last boss, Arcanist Doan, has 4 items on his loot table. We've got a cloth chest piece and cloth shoulder pads, and then the more desirable loot such as a one-handed caster dagger and a beastie 2-handed staff. Before we end, let's take a look at that unique rare loot table for the NPCs in this dungeon. There's a few additional blues added to this list that weren't on the Graveyard's loot table, although you're really not going to farm the Graveyard or the Library for the unique blues on this list. You could do the same thing in either the Armory or Cathedral, which have bigger and better loot tables. although we'll get to those rare loot tables in the very, very near future. But for now, thanks for watching. Drop a like if you learned something new, and I'll see you guys in the next dungeon guide. It's your boy Graysfordays. Howdy!